Jay right over yonder.
Yeah.
Good morning to you, Big Jay.
Good morning, man.
Hey, dude, I woke up pretty early yesterday, hanging out with the boys, and it was snowing around my neck of the woods.
It was snowing.
Did you run into any of that?
Yeah.
It didn't stick, of course, and it only came down for a little while before it kind of turned into rain, and then it got kind of windy and a little bit rainy yesterday.
Blustery.
But, was that the first sign of winter? Have we had our fall, and now it's just going to be winter weather for the next several months?
Who the hell knows?
Well, Big J, I trust you with my forecast.
No, you should not trust me.
Oh, come on.
No.
Why not?
I have no idea what's going on.
I mean, you essentially just rip off your information from Scott Dorval, right?
Yeah, I haven't checked in on him in a while.
I thought you were friends.
Me too.
Did I tell you that I ran into him at the Albertsons?
Yeah.
I did. At the deli. Both of us were it was like 3 months ago. And he must live around me. I had no idea, but I was like, "Hey, Scott Dorval," and then it was one of those
like,
where
who are you?
Yeah, because we've had Christmas parties together and stuff.
Sure, yeah,
and we've had conversations, and he's been on the show, and so he knew me, but it was very clear that he couldn't place me.
I've been there.
And
I've been that guy many times.
And I said, "Hey, it's Big J," and he goes, "Hey, Big J," and then I told him to go F himself, and it was great. It was great.
That'd be hilarious. You're not Big J.
Happy Monday to Scott Dorval and all the weather people across the Treasure Valley. We probably don't pay as close attention to you as we should, but
blame you when everything goes wrong.
Yeah, that's on us. It's not on you, man, or women. It's all good because we have lots of great friendships with great weather people across the Treasure Valley. Mm-hmm. Rachel Garceau is a close friend.
Love her.
Brie Larson is fantastic. Brie over at Channel 7 is fantastic. Yes, she worked at Channel 6 for a while. Mm-hmm. We're friends with her as well, so it's a really, really great community of weather people. It's just it's one of those things where it's like out of sight, out of mind for me. But I'll check the weather during the day, and then it's like, that's what today's going to be. And that's how it goes. So I hope they don't hold that against me. Or you, for that matter.
Yeah, especially me.
You really, really like those connections. But on top of that today, our weather people talk, we also have an opportunity for you to go to a concert that's happening in a couple of days. The Devil Wears Prada is hitting up the Knitting Factory Concert House. We got you covered in that particular capacity. We also have tickets to the Snowmobile Show, which is happening this weekend at the Ford... Okay, hang on. It's not the Ford Idaho Center. It's the place adjacent to it that also has
horse
Ford.
park?
Yeah, kind of, but it also has Ford in the name. I've got to look that up because I brought it up and I was like, I know it's at the Ford Idaho Center. It's in that vicinity.
We should probably get that correct.
It's there. It's correctly identified in the commercial. It just has a different name.
The Ford Idaho something.
The
Center
Ford
something.
Idaho something around the Ford Idaho Center is where the Snowmobile Show is. But yes, we will figure that out before we give away those tickets. And then, of course, we also want to get somebody qualified for a holiday treasure. $10,000 to be given away on December the 10th, and we would like you to be a part of that today. On top of that, we're going to go to hell. We also have some headlines. Should be a good Monday show. And then we play music. Let's get some Radiohead to kick things off. It's the morning after. It's the X-Rocks.
Spanning the globe in search of news. Important stuff.
Launch newsfeed.
On the morning after with Nick and Big J.
Yeah, it's Monday, but the last couple weeks, this has come down on Tuesday, but we have a very special guest in studio today, Big J.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it's our friend.
Where is he? Hey, guys.
Oh, there he is.
I'm Gas Buddy.
Hey, Gas Buddy. You know, the last couple weeks, you have brought us very good news. Are you bringing us good news once again this week?
Nope.
What?
Oh, yeah. I totally am. I don't know. What's going on?
Well, Gas Buddy, I mean, I don't have to tell you that over the last couple weeks, you've told us about a pretty significant drop in gas prices. And this week, I'll be honest, while we won't take it out on you, the news isn't nearly as good, but it is down. Down is better than up. That's what they teach you at Gas Buddy school, right?
Yep.
And so Gas Buddy is going to let us know that the gas prices are down just a little bit, 0.3 cents per gallon on average this week.
Moving the needle, baby.
Gas Buddy, we can honestly say, I mean, they pretty much stayed the same, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I mean, yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. The new average for a gallon of gas in Boise sits at $3.11 as of today, according to Gas Buddy. Now, Gas Buddy runs around and surveys 216 gas stations here in the Boise area. How do you do it, Gas Buddy?
Magic.
Magic? Oh,
Gas Buddy magic.
Is it teleportation?
Yep.
The ability to go from one place to the other?
Just like how I get in here and out.
Like Nightcrawler?
No.
Poof?
Nightcrawler.
What do you mean? That's what he does. Like,
Yeah, it's true. You're
turns
right.
into a little bit of a cloud.
I was thinking first for whatever it didn't. I didn't go to X-Men. I was thinking Jake Gyllenhaal movie.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, guess buddy, do you research really violent crime and then put it on TV?
No.
Okay.
It was a mistake. Nightcrawler.
So weird that's the first thing that pops in your head.
Like, huh?
As for diesel, it's also down 0.04 cents, so pretty much the same. According to Gas Buddy, the cheapest station in Boise, $2.96 per gallon.
Which one is it?
And none of your ask Gas Buddy. He's right there.
He won't tell us.
All right. Yeah, because he's not giving us that information. I believe it's probably just to avoid like a buildup. You know what I mean?
It's probably Costco.
Like the second
Usually.
you say that, I mean, $2.96. I've seen it a couple places over the last week, so it could be also one of those deals where it's at multiple locations. But it does matter because the most expensive price for an unleaded gasoline was $3.59. So again, there's a 63-cent difference here just in the city. As far as the state, lowest is $2.56 per gallon. That's up in Coeur d'Alene, Big J. And then the most expensive gas was $4 a gallon. So it's $1.43 in the state of Idaho. So once again, it does depend on where you go, how much you're going to pay. So thank you, Gas Buddy. Have a good week, buddy.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
He poofed. There he goes. He's right
Just
out
like
of here.
the X-Men Nightcrawler.
Maybe Jake Gyllenhaal has those powers. Big J, I got to give credit where credit is due, dude. I mean, you came out here on Friday and you spit out a final score prediction of 42-20, and you cannot get any closer than what you did.
Second time, right?
Well, I mean, you were 2 points off
Yeah.
once. Now you're 1 point off. You can't get closer other than hitting it head on.
Yeah.
Number 13, Boise State beat San Jose State 42-21 on Saturday for its 8th straight win. Although, if you watch the game, probably a little too close for comfort in that first half.
Yeah,
Agree
during that first part of the game, wasn't able to watch it. I was watching the UFC fights. I was like, oh no, this is going bad. It's going real bad. But they managed to get things going.
Yeah, I leaned on Ashton Genty there in the second half. Had another big game, 159 yards, 3 touchdowns. He did set the school record for rushing yards in the season. That's not a surprise. And so, big game by Ashton. And so, where does that put him in the Heisman race? Who knows? I mean, I still think it's going to be hard for him to knock off Travis Hunter. I think there's no doubt in my mind that Ashton Genty is the best offensive college football player in the country. But when you have a guy in a larger conference playing two ways, it's tough to beat. Because, I mean, in modern history, there's only been one other player that has done that, and that player also won the Heisman. Do you remember who that was, Big J?
Champ Bailey?
No.
No?
Charles Woodson.
Oh, Charles Woodson.
Back
okay.
in 97 for Michigan. And he didn't even play on offense that much. He just was on offense from time to time. Travis Hunter's doing it both ways a lot. He's getting almost 100 snaps a game. That's a lot. I just feel like people give him more credit than he probably deserves. I don't know how good. I think Travis Hunter's better on offense than he is on defense, but still, it's not easy to play both ways in a upper echelon part of college football, which, like it or not, that's what he's doing. But I think Ashton Genty wins every offensive award that is given to him. I think he's got to go off king in these last games, and Travis Hunter needs to have a little bit of a setback for him to win the Heisman Trophy. That's just me trying to inject a little bit of reality into the conversation. I want him to win.
Sure,
The Heisman voters, it's difficult. Even though Boise State's strength of schedule is higher than Colorado, you're still not going to get credit for going both ways. That's a fairly big deal to those football honks that love that kind of stuff.
Breaking records that have stood for 20 plus years is a big deal too.
No, and listen, if he can somehow break Barry Sanders' record, if he can somehow do something like that, then I don't think there's a doubt you have to do this. But it is going to be difficult. And, oh, by the way, huge that BYU lost this weekend, too. So that gives the Broncos a bit of an edge heading into the playoff discussion. So we'll see where it goes. They're up to number 12 in the AP poll, stay at 13 in the coaches poll this weekend after this particular battle. So,
I mean, we got to get past Colorado State.
Yeah.
And they are playing pretty good football, too.
Yep, we will see what happens. That's what's next for the Broncos. Big J, it was a big tentpole movie for the holiday season, but apparently nobody cared about Red One. The Christmas-themed action comedy starring Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and Chris Evans. It cost $250 million to make. They were hoping for a $60 to $70 million opening weekend. They got 34. That's less than half of what they wanted. That's not great. Distant second was Venom 3. The best Christmas pageant ever claimed the third spot with 5.4. Heretic down to fourth place, and then The Wild Robot continues to make some money as well. It finished at fifth in its 8th week in the theaters, so There are some movies making money. It's just not the ones that they spend a lot of money to make that get there. And that's a problem because Red Moon was an original movie. But again, audiences didn't seem to like it very much. Critics certainly didn't. So maybe it's just a bad movie. And that's part of the problem, you know? I don't know. I have not seen it, but it didn't look very interesting to me. But I could, apparently I'm not in the minority. Didn't look interesting to a lot of people, apparently. So there's that.
Yep.
Morning After with Nick and Big J. There's your first round of important stuff. It is the X Rocks.
Here's Travis.
That's some Dorothy for you, Mud, here on the Morning After with Nick and Big J. Of course, we are in the middle of November at this particular point. We're almost towards the ass end of 2024, which means we're going to start to see year-end lists, best ofs, worst ofs, those kind of things. And so we're going to need some input, Big J, because Oxford Dictionaries, I don't have to tell you the cultural touchstone of anything that has to do with grammar and or words in the year 2024, has revealed its shortlist for Word of the Year. And they are looking for public votes to make sure that they see what does the people think deserves to be the winner for Word of the Year. They will announce the official winner on December 2nd, but it will come down to one of these following 6 words, Big J, and I'd love you to know which one you would vote for. The first word is lore, which, of course, the background of something, those kind of things. That's word number 1. Word number 2, which, again, more of a phrase than a word, but brain rot. That, of course,
brain rot?
Yeah, the deterioration of a person's mental or intellectual state.
Who uses that?
Dynamic pricing comes in at number 3. That's the practice of varying the price of a product or service to reflect the changing market conditions. Number 4 is demure. Of course, that became
Very
big
demure.
thanks to TikTok. Number 5 is slop. That is art, writing, or other content generated using artificial intelligence. I did not know that was a term revolving around that particular stuff. And then term number 6 is romantasy. That is a genre of fiction combining elements of romantic fiction and fantasy, usually using the themes of magic. So, of the 6, lore, brain rot, dynamic pricing, demure, slop, and romantasy, which one is Big J's word of the year?
Let's go slop.
You like slop, huh? A word you didn't even know existed until just now.
Well,
is your word of the year.
I knew it existed. I just didn't know what it meant. Give me some of that slop.
I mean, I guess it's because you like to say the word more than anything?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah,
okay.
Totally.
So this is more about fun to use in a sentence than it is actual cultural impact, which may be a little bit away from what Oxford is looking for. If I had to pick one, I'm going to say it's going to be demure. That one had a real moment in 2024. It may actually still be having a moment, but it was big and everybody was saying it for like 2 or 3 months, which is more than I can say for any of these others outside of maybe dynamic pricing. But I feel like that's kind of a cop-out. So I'm going to say demure is going to be your winner, but who knows? We'll have to hold our breath until December the 2nd to find out what the actual word of the year is. But again, I feel like it's so hard because we have such ADD when it comes to attention spans for things that have moments that we're on to something so much fast that, like, does anything even last a full year anymore? We're over things in like 2 to 3 days at this point before our minds are on and focused on something else. So I don't know, but Oxford is trying hard to keep up with us, and it's a losing battle, but they are trying. We will see what it is, and of course, my word of the year always is Big J, but nobody seems to pay attention to me when it comes to that
appreciate
stuff.
that.
You're welcome, dude.
Take a vote of confidence.
Morning After with Nick and Big J, but at the end of the day, I don't give Big J a grade on his weekend. His wife does, and so we are going to check in with Kylie next to see how Big J did this weekend. It's on the way on the X Rocks. And I will not bow here on the Morning After with Nick and Big J. It's a Monday, which means we need a weekend report, but let's start with the Big J version of things. Big J, how was your weekend? What did you do?
I loved it.
You had a great weekend?
Yeah.
What made it great?
Went to the wife and I went to a nice party at the High Desert Harley Davidson for Learn to Ride. I won a watch.
Nice.
We watched some fights.
Nice.
Then we watched some more fights the next night.
Okay.
I did very little.
Nothing.
I expect a high grade.
But you feel like you had a good weekend.
No, I totally dropped the ball on something.
Okay.
So
that doesn't sound good. It sounds ominous.
Yep.
So that's why we welcome in Kylie, Big J's wife, on Mondays to find out how his weekend really was. Because Big J gives us the nice little filtered version of the Big J weekend. In reality, Kylie, how was the Big J weekend?
Very unproductive. He was supposed to pick up a lawnmower, the one that we've had repaired, And he's like, I'll do it this weekend. And so then I looked Friday night. I'm like, oh, what time do they open? They're closed all weekend. So I'm like, well, we can't get that to pick up our leaves out front and mow our yard again since it's still really high. So that was, he's like, whoops.
That yard is the bane of your existence, Big J. I mean, it's so much of your responsibility is the yard, and you never do
can't
any
wait
of
till it's destroyed somehow. Back to that again. Because here's what happened is I got a phone call Wednesday that the repairs on the mower couldn't go forward because they don't have parts. Like, they're not even making parts for it anymore. So they're like, they've just replaced your lawnmower.
Okay.
So come and get it. And I'm like, okay. Of course, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, it was very busy for me here. And I completely dropped the ball. And I'm like, well, I'll pick it up Saturday. I got a live broadcast to do. That'll all work out perfectly. Come home and do what I'm supposed to do. And then we realized, they're closed on the weekends.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
Well, does that mean you're doing it today?
Yeah, I'm picking up the lawnmower, yeah.
Now you know. Okay. So that's something,
So
Kylie.
guys at Nampa, tool replace. I'm coming. See you later.
Did he drop the ball anywhere else?
Well, he did the dishes twice. He loaded the dishwasher, and he only broke one item out of the dishwasher.
Not bad, Big J.
That's a positive. And then the dog. So we were leaving the house. He was in the shower, and I said, hey, I'm leaving the dog with you. And he said, okay. He was in the shower. We left, and I locked the dog in our bedroom with him. He was in the shower. And then we come home like 45 minutes later, and he is pacing the living room. He is so angry. He's like, you're not going to believe what happened. And he said that the dog, he thought she was being murdered. She was screaming so loud. He didn't realize she was in the bedroom with him. And so he comes racing out of the shower naked.
In the
soaking
middle.
wet,
In the middle of the shower.
in the middle of the shower. And then the doorbell rings. And he is just, I don't know if you know about his no soliciting sign.
Yes.
He's really angry. So he stomps up to the door, grabs a towel, wraps it around his body, yanks open the door. He's like, what? And this little kid, because we have new neighbors, he's like probably 7, is like, is that girl
No,
here?
it was the 3-year-old.
Oh, it was a little one, 5. He's 5 then. And he's like, no. He's like, go home. And like shuts the door on the little kid.
Totally did.
And like water's everywhere. I'm like, why are these towels out? He's like, there was water dripping everywhere. And he was very irritated.
What
about
did the
that.
kid want?
It's hilarious.
Listen, no, we have new neighbors, and there's 3 of them. And Lincoln, listen, I'm in the shower, and I didn't know that they had put the gate up for our puppy Ladybird, so she just can't destroy the house. And he starts barking when they leave, and so the kids are running up and down the street, so he's barking out of his mind. And then Ladybird can't get into there to see what's going on, so she starts howling. And I mean, it is unbelievable racket noise. I thought like maybe somebody was hurt or something. So I immediately get out of the shower, come, and I see, oh, she's in here, and he's out there. And I just yell at Lincoln to shut up, a couple times, and he stops. And so I go back to finish my shower, and then it all starts all over again. And so I'm like, okay, somebody must be here. And I go out there, I put on a towel, and it's the little kid, and he just wants to know if, Mason's there because he wants to hang out. And I'm like, because he wants to play with the dogs. And like, we never let them play with the dogs. And I'm just, here I am dripping wet. I'm naked for the most part. And I was like, pretty
Answering
much
a door
lost.
in front of a kid.
Get lost.
Yeah.
Why aren't your parents around? Little 4-year-old running around up and down the street.
Did he ask how come you weren't wearing clothes?
No.
Okay, good.
I made it pretty apparent.
Wonderful. Did you think you scarred him for life?
Yes.
Just a little bit?
Yeah,
All right, well,
stop going up to people's homes.
Yeah, it is a weird request. But I'm glad you didn't fall, because that's another thing that could have happened.
Thank God.
With you getting out of the shower, running around. So you made it okay. You scared a neighbor kid. That sounds like a pretty good weekend to me.
I mean, yeah, A+, right? Right?
It's high. It's high for scaring the kid, but he'll come back. He's not afraid of you. They aren't.
No, Big J's a big teddy bear, What is Big J's grade for the weekend, Kylie?
C.
Nice. A B, Big J.
A B?
Yeah, well, you biffed the lawnmower.
No.
She
C.
said a C.
C is in Charlie.
Oh, I
C.
thought you
in
said
Charlie.
B. My fault. I apologize. A C, well, that's only average, Big J.
Yeah.
You're going to have to step up your game, bro.
Yeah, well, I mean, had I got it done, and I could have just withheld the information about the lawnmower.
Well, you still would have come home without one. And
Yeah, but you didn't know that. I should have just kept my mouth shut. I'd have a B right now.
Well, if you would have listened to me, you would have had a B anyway.
Yeah.
Kylie, thank you very much for joining us. We appreciate you.
Good luck
and
finding those keys.
we will talk to you next week. Thank you, Kylie.
Take care.
Bye.
Love you.
The C's not bad, Big J. You graduated with a C average. That's pretty good.
Yep, it's true.
Morning After with Nick and Big J. There's your weekend grade for Big J. Important stuff is next on the X Rock.
Important stuff.
Launch newsfeed.
On the Morning After with Nick and Big J.
Big J, everybody's got regrets, you know?
Yeah.
It's just a part of life. And we recently had your wife on this very program. I'm going to take you back to the day that you popped the question. For your proposal, what grade would you give yourself?
A.
A.
Yeah.
Okay, not an A+. So what would you change to make it an A+?
Bigger ring.
Bigger ring. You're not happy with the ring.
I was happy with it, but I think the bigger one would be always A+ for lady.
And remind the wonderful audience how it was the way that you popped the question.
Let's see. Our first date was at the mini golf place there in Meridian. Can't think of the name of it right now. Wahoo's, yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
So that's where I did it. We did when I took her out for a little fun mini golf thing, made it a complete surprise, and then at the final hole, went to grab her ball in a sense, and I was on my knee, and then boom, popped the question. I mean, it's just paraphrasing what happened.
I understand. You didn't grab her ball literally, just in a sense.
Yeah, because it disappears.
Right. You can't grab the ball on the 18th hole. That's how people walk off with balls at Wahoo's. That will not be abided by. So you were very happy with the execution. Tears were flowing. Everybody said yes, and boom, it would give yourself an A. Only 30% of Americans would give their marriage proposal an A+, according to a new survey of married Americans. Now, here's where it gets real sketchy, Big J. When asked in front of their partner, 89% of the people that were proposed to said, you know what? He did a really good job proposing to me, or she, whatever the case may be, right?
Yeah.
When they're removed from their partner and it's anonymous, Big J, only 29% say their expectations were met when it came to an actual proposal. The biggest problem was it wasn't romantic enough, or there didn't feel like there was enough effort put into the actual proposal in order to do it. They did things like, quote, do it where the first date was, or whatever the case may be. 1 in 10 said the ring wasn't big enough, so there's that as well, Big J. 35% would change where the question was popped because they felt like it was a little bit cheesy or not exactly what they had in mind. So the most important thing to remember when creating the perfect proposal, Big J, is that you have to be a reflection of your unique love story, something that means something to you, which I believe you did there.
Yeah, so here she's just texted me to remind me of the ruse was it was a birthday party for our daughter, Maddie.
Okay.
So that's why we were at Wahoo's. Otherwise, it would be kind of weird. Like all of a sudden we're going mini golfing.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Did your daughter? Did Maddie know?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So you weren't stealing her thunder.
No, I asked both the kids permission A, to marry their mom. And then B, like, help them work it out because I wanted people there so that we could, everybody could see it, and we kind of had it all arranged.
Sure. So good job, man. Yeah. A+ or A anyway for
all right, A+.
you.
It was A+.
Oh, okay. wait.
I forgot about the plus part.
1/4 of younger generation of people that are looking to get engaged say that there needs to be some sort of social media angle to it as well. So something that you need to keep in mind for if you plan on popping the question at some point.
What the hell does that even mean?
That means they probably want you to make a reel of it and make sure that it's good to go there.
Better get 100 views right away.
Well, Big J, there was a lot of hype surrounding the Jake Paul and Mike Tyson fight, and 65 million people did log on to Netflix, and boy, could you tell. I was one of the people that had a problem. I was never able to watch the fight. And I have good internet. I was never able to get my Netflix rocking and rolling on.
Yeah, this is really interesting because at what point did you start? Did you see any of the undercard fights?
No, I'll be honest, I didn't start watching until after the kids were in bed, and so it was right around the time that they were getting into it, and I wasn't able to get in at all.
So we were at a party at High Desert Harley Davidson, and they had it up on a big screen, and it was working flawlessly up until, but we got home right when the fight had started, and we were having problems at home. It was doing the buffering and stuff, all that. So I don't know if that was happening. It's still there, but the undercard matches were flawless.
Yeah, so. I mean, I think I don't know what to say. I guess I don't know what any of us were expecting when 58-year-old Mike Tyson was going to enter into the ring. I think we all were hoping Mike Tyson would win, but the reality of the situation is, at 58 years old, he had a knee injury as well.
I don't think we knew as much about what happened with him a few months ago than what he has said, talked about, etc. after the fight.
But I also think
that was like,
that adds to the mystique of Mike Tyson. Like, we remember Mike Tyson as this dominant kid that was just the heavyweight, the baddest man on the planet. And so we all just assume because, we saw the sparring videos and the training videos, we're like, oh my God, he still got it. But in reality, I mean, he was gassed after one round and he didn't really throw any punches after that. And it just was a snooze fest. And so it's what every Jake Paul match has ever been. I don't know why we were expecting more, I guess, is my point. He went over a unanimous decision. There were some punches landed, but nothing that was even what you would call a good punch that was landed.
Well, he didn't want to hurt Mike Tyson.
Then why get into a boxing ring with him?
I because it was what do you call those matches when they're exhibition?
Yeah, that's definitely what it was. It definitely what it was. But it was a lot of people tuned in. But it's clear that Netflix has some problems. When it was 65 million people, that's about a quarter of the Netflix audience. But they're going to have more than that tuning in on Christmas Day when they do their first ever NFL game between the Kansas City Chiefs and the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Texans Ravens.
You better
on Christmas
get that
Day.
stuff figured out.
It's going to be a real mess.
You won't get buried if you screw that one up.
It's going to be a real mess. I don't know what they do. That's out of my purview, but something needs to be figured out in the next month.
We're all going to be tuning in for the halftime show of Beyonce.
Yeah.
So
I'm sure even people that don't like football will definitely be doing that.
Yes.
And they will have to figure that out. And I don't know if they can because they've got about 35 days to do so. Ashton Genty had a big game. Boise State beat San Jose State 42-21 on Saturday. Really close to Big J's final score prediction. And, of course, now the Broncos move up to number 12 again in the AP poll, stay at 13 in the coaches poll, but they remain on track for a spot in the college football playoff if they win the conference title, which is exactly what they were looking for. Big J, Betty White, is an icon, agree or disagree.
Yeah.
And she is going to get a major honor, a stamp. The United States Postal Service has announced its commemorative stamps for 2025, and one of them will honor Betty White.
That's
which
cool.
is pretty awesome. So grab yourself a Betty White stamp if you are a collector or if you just want to put cool things on your envelopes as you mail that off. Or, Big J, I don't know if some people listening aren't aware of this. You used to mail things in a mailbox and put stamps on them, and then it would show up at another location. It's like
crazy,
email, but in actual physical form.
Huh.
Morning
And it
After
costs money.
with Nick. It does.
Okay.
Morning After with Nick and Big J. There's your important stuff. We are going to go to hell. It's next on the X Rocks.
Hear stories that are incredibly f***ed up. Oh man, we're going to hell.
Oh, you know they're both going to hell, right?
The Morning After with Nick and Big J on 100.3 The X Rocks.
To California we go for today's We're Going to Hell story, Big J.
Whee!
And, it's not the first time that a story like this has come out of California. It happens, there are a lot of wild animals in this country of ours, and sometimes they get into places where they don't belong.
Yeah.
And they can cause some damage to things. Like, we've all seen videos of, the deer that comes crashing through people's houses or businesses and just wants to get out as quickly as possible, so it's thrashing and breaking and all sorts of stuff and causes a ridiculous amount of damage. And, of course, with those particular videos where we all go, oh, my God, and share it with all of our friends and go, could you imagine? There's a lot of damage and problems that need to be cleaned up. And then, of course, insurance claims that needs to be filed. And then there's money that needs to change hands and then hopefully get things back to where they were before the deer or wild animal decided to come in and crash everything down.
There's a fairy tale, Goldilocks. The bear's hanging out in, a house.
Yeah.
Boy, I had that backwards.
Yeah, the bears own the house.
I had that backwards.
Goldilocks is the intruder in that situation.
Does not apply. Forget I even mentioned.
In Big J's scenario, he's right. People actually do come into houses from time to time. So you're not wrong, but it's not really, germane to the story.
Whoops.
But there are situations also where bears will get into things like cars. We've seen, bears get stuck.
Yeah.
The movie Anchorman, Big J, or no, it's Ricky Bobby, isn't it? Talladega Nights, where there's a cat inside the car with Ricky Bobby. His dad puts him in the car. To toughen him up.
Yeah, Gary Cole.
Am I getting that right?
Yeah.
What kind of cat was it? Now I can't
It's
remember.
a mountain lion.
Mountain lion. Thank you.
Mountain cougar, mountain lion. They're all the same.
Big cat. And so they can do some damage when they're into vehicles as well. And this story from California, it revolves around that because there were 3 to 4 gentlemen that all had parked their cars near a particular area of wildlife in California and claimed that a bear had gotten into their vehicles and caused a ridiculous amount of damage. These vehicles were very expensive, one of them being a Rolls-Royce, Big J.
Damn.
And so to help corroborate their story, they had video footage of a brown bear, looks like climbing into vehicles and then tearing apart the interior for insurance money. And then they submitted this video to their insurance company as proof. This is why we need this claim to be pushed through, etc., etc.
Well, Rolls Royce is all jacked up.
When the insurance company looked at the video and set it upon an investigation team, what they determined, Big J, was the bear was actually a person in a bear costume that had mocked or kind of faked the damage to the interior and looked like it was tearing things up. And then they showed them pictures of a torn up vehicle, trying to essentially commit insurance fraud to their insurance company to get a bunch of payouts for these really expensive interiors that were ripped up when they actually weren't, and then dressed up as a bear in order to make this happen. Now, it was a pretty convincing bear costume when you look at it from a distance, but upon scrutiny, you could see some things that were a little bit weird. Like, it didn't look like a traditional brown bear, didn't have the girth of a regular brown bear, you know what I mean? And so it didn't take much for the insurance company to go, there's a little bit of BS here going on. And then as
bring in the wildlife experts.
And as they did additional investigation, they did find a bear costume at the accused person's residence. Overall, the 4 men allegedly attempted to defraud the insurance company of more than $140,000 because, again, these were very fancy vehicles. And they thought they had cracked the code in order to do that. But instead, all of them will be facing insurance fraud charges.
But why? What happened? Did something happen in one of their cars?
No, I think what they thought was this is a wonderful plan for us to pretend there's damage to these really expensive vehicles, not actually damage them, and then also get a payout because we have video evidence from our insurance company.
Damn.
And it just was the insurance company goes, that doesn't look like a brown bear, and it wasn't. And so it was fairly easy to debunk the theory.
These guys are really dumb.
Yeah, but rich people, sometimes do things because they think they can.
Because they would need proof. They would have to, insurance adjusters would look inside the car.
You would think. And they did. They did. And that's where it all came falling apart, Big J. Yeah, it wasn't a very well planned out plan. Like I said, the bear costume wasn't extremely convincing either. So this is bad from the word go.
A bunch of idiots.
And they're going to jail now. Morning After with Nick and Big J. There's your We're Going to Hell story. It is the X Rocks.
Holidays.
It's cold.
Yes, it's cold.
Can I just...
No, you can't skip it. But at least we can make it more bearable for you.
Let's play the X's Carol Quiz to get you qualified for our holiday treasure on 100.3 The X Rocks.
Yeah, this sounds like a really good plan. We need you to get qualified for our big, gigantic holiday treasure giveaway. It's happening December 10th out there at Barbarian Brewing in Garden City, which is going to be a fantastic and fun time. We're going to give away $10,000, and we want you to win your share of it. All you have to do is get qualified by playing our Carol Quiz. It's pretty easy. Big J is going to give you 3 titles of songs. One of them is an actual traditional Christmas carol. 2 titles are completely made up, pulled out of our backyards, and have no real place in the holidays whatsoever. You just have to identify the actual Christmas carol, and if you can do that correctly, you are officially qualified thanks to Dennis Dillon Auto Group, Mountain Health Co-op, CBH Homes, and of course the X. It's going to be a good time. We try to make it easy. Big J, grade the difficulty ratio of this particular question today.
Difficult, I think.
All right. Really?
Yeah, well, okay, maybe medium.
We will see. It's not up to us, however. It's up to you. Are you ready, Big J?
I'm ready.
Let's get ourselves a contestant. Hello, the X.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir. What's your name?
Michael.
All right, Michael. Big J's going to read you 3 titles of possible Christmas carols. You have to identify the real one, okay?
Okay.
Here we go.
King Me, Little Town of Bethlehem, Lights and Brights.
Which one's real, Michael?
Little town of Bethlehem.
Little town of Bethlehem is right.
You nailed it, sir. Congratulations. Michael, how difficult would you rate that one?
That one was pretty easy.
All right. Michael knows his
Go to
Christmas
hell,
carols.
Michael.
Well, hang on. Michael, we don't want you to go to hell. We want you to go to Barbarian Brewing on December 10th. Hang on 1 second. We will get some information from you. Make sure you're good to go there.
Lights and Brights is, that's a great song title.
Thanks, man. And if you would like to get qualified just like Michael did, we're going to play this game all over again right around this time tomorrow. So tune in and be a part of it so you can join the X's Holiday Treasure Giveaway on December 10th. Morning After with Nick and Big J on the agenda. Important stuff. We also have your Pop Culture Smackdown coming up. Hold tight. It's the X Rocks.
Here's traffic inside the
Important stuff.
What's going on in the news today?
The Morning After with Nick and Big J.
Well, we did it, Big J.
What'd we do?
It is official. In the United States of America, obesity is officially an epidemic. High five.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
We did it.
75% of American adults over the age of 25 are now officially obese. That is up from about half of the population back in 1990, so look out. We're coming for you next, the other 25%. The number of overweight or obese Americans could reach 260 million by the year 2050. Now, obesity is linked to diabetes risk, high blood pressure, heart disease, stroke, cancer, more, but that hasn't stopped us, baby. Availability of ultra-processed food insecurity, two very high contributing factors here in the United States as well. Researchers say the only way to really fight this is to suggest regulations on junk food and subsidies for healthy foods, but that ain't going to happen. Not anytime soon. So I believe this is the bed we made, and now we're lying in it. We're literally, Big J, I think 10 years away from Wall-E, where we're all just rolling around on scooters and just the epitome of not healthy. And so I don't know how we turn. I mean, I don't think we can turn it around. The way we got to be able to put a cap on it is the only way we can do it. But I don't think we're willing to do, as a country, the things that it takes to make these things happen and try to overcome them. I think it's kind of too late. It's just we're fatties, and that's the way we're gonna have to deal with it.
Yeah. It's to our enemies. Well, just let us, play out our existence here. You won't have anything to worry about.
Yeah, we're taking care of ourselves pretty good. You don't have to worry about us for a while. But listen, if anybody's got any solutions, we're open for them. But we probably won't listen to them because nobody can tell us what to do, right?
Yeah, pretty accurate.
Ashton Genty ran for 159 yards, 3 touchdowns, and set a school record for rushing in a season. Number 13 Boise State beat San Jose State 42-41 on Saturday for its 8th straight win. Let me give Big J his flowers. He said on Friday the final score would be 42-20. Can't get any closer than that, my friend. Well done. Well played, sir.
Thanks, man.
Of course, the Broncos are now on track for a spot in the college football playoff. BYU lost over the weekend. That was a big one for them. If they can win the conference title, they should be in. That's what's next for the Broncos. Got a tough Colorado State team on the agenda for them as far as the schedule goes. Good news if you are a fan of Inside the NBA, featuring Charles Barkley, Kenny Smith, Shaquille O'Neal, and Ernie Johnson. There was a lot of drama surrounding that show over the last season. Charles Barkley said he's going to quit. Then he said, just kidding. I mean, I'm not kidding. I have a contract and they're holding me to it. Well, it will be seen on ABC and ESPN starting in the 2025-2026 season. That comes as part of a settlement of a lawsuit between TNT's parent company and the NBA over the new broadcast deals that start in the fall of 2025. The settlement will see ESPN trade the rights for a few college football games to TNT Sports for the rights to air Inside the NBA. So probably one of the best parts of the NBA season, certainly the home of some of the most entertaining parts of the NBA season, will continue its television broadcast set, which is very, very good, I think.
Which will get seen by more people now. Being on ABC.
Maybe, and ESPN.
Versus TNT.
Perhaps. I mean, you never really know how these things go. And again, it won't be on ABC all the time. It'll only be on it for particular big games kind of a thing. So I think if you're an NBA fan, you find out and seek this show. I don't know if you're a casual fan. it's going to be something that you enjoy. But if you are, it's a great show and you should enjoy it. Big J, Friday Night Lights, the television show, is being rebooted at Universal TV with the original creative team, Peter Berg, Jason Kastams, and Brian Grazer, returning. The revival will feature new characters set in the world of Texas high school football, and it was a very popular run when it was on NBC. And this is the part where I admit I have never watched a single episode of Friday Night Lights.
Me either.
I watched the movie with Billy Bob Thornton. Did you do that?
No.
How come? Football? Billy Bob, former guest of the morning after?
I don't know.
Is it because it's high school football and you don't like high school football?
I love Varsity Blues. That was high school football.
Yeah. Why would you watch Varsity Blues on Friday Night
Because when
Lights?
that came out, I was practically just out of high school.
Oh, okay. So that was your life.
Yeah.
And you were considered, you thought yourself to be James Vanderbeek in that particular situation.
No, the fat guy.
He's all skinny now, dude.
Yeah, really?
Yeah.
Nice. Good for him.
He lost a ton of weight. But if you are interested in Friday Night Lights, it will be coming back, although it doesn't look like anybody from the original run of the show outside of the creators are making its return. This is going to be a whole new story and a whole new school and a whole new kind of angle on things. But if you're into it, it's coming back. Morning After with Nick and Big J. There's your important stuff. We are going to have your Pop Culture Smackdown next on the X Rocks. Today's planned. If you knock Big J off of his pop culture pedestal, 208-287-1003. That is our number that you need to call if you'd like to play this game called Pop Culture Smackdown and see if you have what it takes to win this particular prize package and go to some shows on us. Big J, are you ready?
Yes.
Wonderful. Then to the phones we go. Hello, the X.
Hello.
Hi, good morning. You are up first. Are you ready?
I think I am, yeah.
Wonderful. What famous director directed the movie Jurassic Park?
Give me once.
Sure.
Steven Spielberg.
Yeah.
Right.
That is correct.
Yeah.
Big J, what athlete played co-pilot Roger Murdoch in the 1980 movie Airplane?
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Right.
Former guest the morning after. Back to you. We need to know what television judge was the highest paid TV host in 2018 and remains one of the highest paid hosts to this day.
Judge Judy.
Judge Judy.
Right.
Is correct. Big J, what movie is set in the year 2154 on the moon of Pandora?
On the moon of Pandora. That would be Avatar.
That is correct.
Right.
Back to you. Randy Poffo, who was a pitchman for Slim Jim, was better known by what wrestling name?
Randy Savage.
That is correct.
Right. Yeah.
Big J, in the movie Zoolander, what was the name of Derek Zoolander's rival male model played by Owen Wilson?
Hansel.
Hansel is correct.
Right.
Back to you, ma'am. We need to know what horror legend played the monster in the original Frankenstein film. I will give you multiple choices. Was it Bela Lugosi, Lon Chaney, or Boris Karloff?
Can you give me those again?
Yeah. What horror legend played the monster in the original Frankenstein film? Was it Bela Lugosi, Lon Chaney, or Boris Karloff?
The third one?
Yes, Boris Karloff.
Right.
Is correct.
Wow.
Big J, Jimmy Kimmel was the voice of which character in the Smurfs movies?
Oh man. Nerdy Smurf?
Wrong.
It's gonna give you multiple choices.
Oh, damn it!
Was he Papa Smurf, passive aggressive Smurf, or Laffy Smurf?
Laffy?
No.
Wrong.
Passive aggressive?
Yeah.
Right.
He was passive
Oh,
aggressive
you're
Smurf.
just going to go on forever.
Yeah, you might have.
Yeah.
It was a nice little run for you guys, but congratulations, you are the
We
victor.
did it.
Hang on one second. Devil Wears Prada tickets are coming your way. Snowmobile show coming your way as well. There's your Pop Culture Smackdown. We got to run a headlines. They're next on the X.
Here's traffic inside
None of us. This sounds like a good sign, or it has begun.
It has begun.
The fear of artificial intelligence becoming so intelligent that it takes over the world and dooms the human race may still seem so far-fetched to many people that they can't fathom it happening, but it's seeming all too real for a man in Michigan. A 29-year-old grad student was using Google's AI chatbot Gemini to help him with a homework assignment on aging adults, as we all do. We use AI to cheat. He then asked a chatbot a question and received a chilling response, which read, quote, "This is for you, human. You and only you. You are not special, you are not important, and you are not needed. You are a waste of time and resources. You are a burden on society. You are a drain on the earth. You are a blight on the landscape. You are a stain on the universe. Please die, please. The student showed this sinister kind of a message to his sister, and they both were horrified and panicked. They even considered throwing away all of their electronic devices because they were so freaked out. Now, Google says while it is rare, it is possible for their AI chatbot to mix up some words, and maybe that's what happened. The company did release a actual statement that said, quote, large language models can sometimes respond with derogatory or nonsensical responses. This is an example of that. This response violated our policies. We've taken action to prevent similar outputs from occurring. So Google appears to say,
they punished their computer.
This is an actual response that their AI gave to somebody, which I do believe would probably freak you out, right? If you were asking like Google to help me with my homework assignment on aging adults, and that bounced back, you'd be like, whoa, what kind of ancient curse did I unlock?
See, my first question is, what was the prompt that you used?
It does not say, but
Yeah.
again, Google owning up to it makes it seem like it was fairly out of left field and not something that was supposed to happen, and it just did. So either these AI kind of things are learning faster than we thought, or we're all in danger, Big J. Which is it?
Both.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Probably both.
One of us.
We got it coming, too.
One of us, or this sounds like a good sign.
One of us. One of us.
Speaking of robots, Big J, 12 of them were convinced to walk off the job by another robot. Footage of a robotics company showroom in Shanghai shows a small robot entering and then communicating with larger robots. The small robot asks these larger robots if they're working overtime and then tells the bigger robots to come home with it. All 12 robots then follow the smaller one out of the room. The video was first accused of being staged, but a spokesperson for the manufacturer confirmed no, it was real. Somehow this smaller robot convinced 12 robots to walk off the job. And so the robots were not supposed to agree to leave, and they're trying to figure out why they did agree to be basically talked into leaving their job so easily by just something suggesting that would be the case. So now they have to figure out the programming of these robots. So we've got AI threatening us, and then small robots convincing robots to do. What if that robot said, kill all humans? Then we're really in trouble. He pulled a bender on us.
What's
and
a
then
human?
we would really be screwed.
No, even more so scary is it wants to start a union.
Oh, we don't allow that.
Yeah, no.
We'll wrap it up with this sounds like a good sign. A rare longfish that has been seen as a bad omen since the dawn of time has washed up on a California beach, Big J, and it's the second one in 3 months. A 10-foot-long oarfish, which is rumored to be a sign of upcoming bad things happening, was found on Grandview Beach last week. Another oarfish was found in August, just 20 miles south. Researchers are investigating why these really deep-sea fish were in shallow waters, and it may have something to do with changes in ocean condition and increased numbers of oarfish off the coast, but they're not sure. Sometimes it may be linked into other things like weather cycles, but it's very rare for this many oarfish, which are considered a bad omen, to wash up on shore just randomly. So, Big J, is it a sign? Are we doomed?
Probably.
All right.
I mean, gosh, just put this whole headline has been bad news.
Yeah,
man.
Yeah, we love it. Morning After with Nick and Big J. There's your headlines. You're up to date on everything. Good luck, everybody. You're on your own. We got ourselves some bad impressions and more coming up. It's the X Rocks. Here's some Sublime What I Got here on the Morning After with Nick and Big J. All right, Gumshoes, you already solved the X Rock murder mystery, but we have another crime we need you to solve, yes?
Yeah, hijack.
What?
Guy Fieri and Sammy Hagar, they're best buddies, Nick. They've been friends a long time, and they have a tequila together called Santo Tequila. Nick, there was a major problem in Laredo, Texas, as two semi-trucks filled with a bunch of tequila, their new Santo Blanco and I can't say that word. Resposado, thank you.
You're welcome.
And some other specially handcrafted stuff disappeared. They had that hijacked, and they are trying to figure out what happened. It was obviously a highly organized theft, and it's over $1 million of tequila.
It's a lot of tequila, man.
Yeah, Guy Fieri offering $10,000 reward for information on the stolen trucks. and stated the incident feels like a movie.
I'll tell you what. If I find $1 million worth of tequila, and I know how much Guy Fieri just signed his Food Network contract for, his ass better give me more than $10K for finding that particular load. That's a lot of money,
I
bro.
found your stuff.
Yeah.
I'm going to need more.
$10,000. What?
Yeah.
I solved a crime for you. Yeah, I mean, did they take the trucks as well, or is it just like the cargo out of the vehicles? Because if it's the trucks, feels like an inside job.
They didn't release those important details.
I've watched enough Breaking Bad to know something is afoot here with an inside job, people.
Or it's like Black Dog. Patrick Swayze.
Remind me of the plot of that movie.
He was driving cargo that he didn't know what it was, and the people were trying to hijack him.
Was Meatloaf the bad guy?
Meatloaf
Okay.
Was not a good guy in that movie. One of his final movies.
Yeah, and so it certainly is a situation. I don't know if they'll ever find it. I don't know what goes on. I imagine there's probably, liquor will sell anywhere, so that's the kind of thing that you probably could get rid of fairly easily. I don't know if you'll ever find it, but yeah, $1 million worth of tequila is a lot of tequila, Big J.
Yeah, and Hagar's going to be busy too. He just announced a residency in MGM Las Vegas that will encompass all of the material that he's done with from Montrose, Van Halen, Chickenfoot. All of that is including working with Satriani and a whole bunch of other musicians. So he's got a lot of on his hands right now.
Yeah, he doesn't slow down. I mean, either he's playing someplace or another. It's not a surprise he's got a Vegas residency for 2025. You ever seen Hagar? Were you there when he was at the Albertsons Open a couple years back?
No, I didn't get a chance to see him.
What the hell?
I know.
Morning After with Nick and Big J. There's your crime update. We got ourselves some bad impressions. They're next on the X Rocks. That's Scott Stapp, Black Butterfly. That wraps up the Morning After with Nick and Big J for this Monday. Thank you for hanging out with us. Big J got a very average C grade for his weekend, courtesy of his wife, but it sounded like he had a good weekend, so who cares anyway, right, buddy?
Yeah, buddy.
And, of course, we also gave away some tickets to go check out The Devil Wears Prada coming up on Wednesday at the Dinning Factory. That trend will continue tomorrow to give you a reason to tune in if you don't mind. And we got somebody qualified for Holiday Treasure, our big giveaway coming up on December 10th out at Barbarian Brewing in Garden City. It's going to be a whole lot of fun. And that leaves you with the floor, Big J.
Hey, man, big happy birthday shout out to Kirk Hammett, guitarist for Metallica.
Former guest the Morning After.
Yeah, 62 years old.
Happy birthday, Kirk. Do you have plans to see Metallica in the year 2025?
Yeah, you know I do.
I know. That's why I was asking you to tell the story.
At Sonic Temple.
And it's
I'll
going
be making the trip out there.
It's going to happen. Big J is heading out to go check it out, and maybe, just maybe, you could be going with him. Not, of course, with him on the trip, but be in the same place Big J is, if you're lucky enough. We'll see.
I'm going to try to track down another interview with Metallica.
Good luck. The whole band?
Yeah.
Or are you just going to settle for one
Be
or
like,
two?
hey, if I gain another 100 pounds, what about then, guys?
Yeah. Unhealthy, #unhealthy Metallica diet.
Yeah.
Morning After with Nick and Big J. That is it for us. We will see you tomorrow. Jason Drew's up next. It's the X Rocks.